Well, Alison, you've come here this evening because you've got a point of view regarding neighbourhood changes. First of all, what do you know about those neighbourhood changes?
Nothing much. There are rumours that they're going to shut Oxford Road. That's all I know.
Right, so you want to find out what's going on?
Yeah, and I want this. I don't want any more LTNs because I know old people who can't walk far, and the buses are getting held up by all the what do you call bicycle lanes.
Right.
So they can't stand and wait for the bus for hours either, and the buses are always late. But that's cycling, I understand.
Are you aware that this is a heavily oversubscribed public meeting already?
Yes.
And it's full and no one else can get in?
Yes, and I think that's terrible.
Perhaps you've got a message for organising these people who organise these matters at the council. Would you like to give them a message that perhaps they can see from yourself?
Yeah, we all want to say, we want to know what's going on, and at the moment we're not getting either.
What can I say, Alison? Well, look, I hope you manage to get some kind of substance out of this. Maybe they're going to do a meeting in the bigger hall or something.
Yeah, I mean they should cancel it now and find a bigger place.
Seems like a good idea, I'm sure, and very fair-minded. Alison, thanks for taking your time this evening.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir. Your name's Paul Cheshire, I understand.
That's right, and I live round the corner, and this is supposed to be a neighbourhood meeting to consider plans that possibly exist, possibly to create another low traffic zone, but people haven't been leafleted. Despite the fact that I wasn't leafleted, there are far more people come than can be contained, and they're being turned away, so they won't be consulted. There's no way that this can be a valid consultation if the meeting which was allegedly going to consult it can't accommodate the people who want to be heard. They say they'll organise another meeting in January, but that of course is not the same. People may not be able to come in January. So if they want a consultation, it has to be a full consultation with everybody if it is to be valid.
Do you think this meeting inside should be allowed to go ahead?
No, it seems completely unconstitutional, and I would have thought certainly counter to the spirit of democracy for a meeting to go ahead with just those people who happen to know about it and happen to turn up very early. So I was told about it by a neighbour. I received no. I didn't even see the leaflet you say you saw. So it's just not chance. Clearly I'm concerned about my neighbourhood and plans, proposals to change it, and we've lived here for 30 years and we want to have a say.
The question I'd like to ask you is, what would you like to have done with this meeting?
I think this meeting should be annulled. There should be no weight given to any opinions expressed tonight, and there should either be a postal consultation with everybody having a chance to speak, equal say, or there should be a full meeting in the town in some assembly room where everyone can get there. But the trouble with that is that people may not be able to go there because they haven't been alerted. Clearly, no meeting where there hasn't been proper publicity and everyone been invited can have any validity.
What can I say? Thank you for joining us this evening.
Okay,
we hope you get your say.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
To people who are being slowly slung around borough because people buying up houses, they're taking our rights away. We can't even drive because cyclists want to take over the world. No, it's not a lot. Don't swear.
I'm Islington born and bred, and I'm a cyclist.
Yeah. My husband cycles.
Well, what are you on about then? So why don't we go downstairs and find out?
Because they're not letting you in.
Well, let's go down. People getting knocked down on Liverpool Road before.
No, because when you park in Liverpool Road and you go to cross, you get knocked down by a cyclist.
Can I explain why?
Yeah,
explain why?
cyclist is knocking
down on the fucking pavement. No, I'm talking to this person here, right? I'm talking to this person here. Let me tell you why. There's so many cars going down Liverpool Road.
And there's not many cyclists.
Yeah, and where do those people in cars come from? Do they come from
borough.
No, they don't come from around the borough.
Well, it doesn't matter, does it, where they come from?
They come from outside the borough.
Doesn't matter.
So you think you should better drive everywhere around the borough?
Delivery lorry to the co-op comes from what? Around the corner.
Romans didn't have cars.
Romans built roads, you mug.
Didn't have cars though.
Mark, it's very heated inside the foyer of this building, let alone getting anywhere near the meeting. First of all, why can't you get near this meeting?
Heated. It's like being back in summer. You can't get inside because in their stupidity, the council's got a place which is not enough. It's not big enough. Simple as that. Mind you, wouldn't expect them to run anything properly. They couldn't run the borough. So to run a simple consultation like this is nonsense. But what they've done, because there's loads and loads of people here who wanted to speak. Now, in democracy, I may not like what you say, but I respect your ability to be able to say it, right? No one's been given a chance to speak. And there's lots of people, pro-LTNs, anti-LTNs. We've all got a vote, we've all got a voice, and we all want to be heard. They're denying people. Now, there's a suspicion there's an imbalance in the audience.
Yes.
Right. That is a supposition. It can't be proven unless you're actually in the hall, but you can't get in the hall. So consequently, if there's not enough people, if not people not being heard, then it should be cancelled and be held again somewhere else, at a bigger venue. Because obviously, it's hot to trot. When I come here, I'll queued up for about 20 minutes. And I've got here just before 1:45, signing inside.
I've taken you outside the building. Obviously, as viewers might appreciate, we can't stay in there all the time because it's very heated. But you actually had people attacking you verbally in quite a nasty way, and that's why I took you out for your safety. How do you feel at the moment about your safety inside that building?
Listen, I'm an Oxen boy. I'm strong enough and tough enough to walk off a duck's back.
But the question is, where was security in dealing with these heated arguments?
You got one geezer, a fellow standing in the door. He's got a rotten job. He's earned his money tonight, and he's a nice guy. Because I said, look, mate. He went, look, I've got my job to do. I've got my licence to risk. You know, so give him a bit of respect. He's got a normal thing. But one security guy. I mean, we've been outside the tunnel before. There's been van loads of old Bill. And we've been like standing there like all peaceful. We ain't a fighting mob. We get excited. We get passionate about things, but we're not violent.
This sounds...
Oh, here they come, here they come.
And here are the police. Although they're very close, they've taken a little bit of a while to get here. And this is going to be quite interesting. The question has to be, are they going to try and break up the meeting? Will they allow...
Most of us, 95%, whatever, are decent people. So like, I don't like what you're saying, but I'll let you say it. But you listen to me, that's what we're going to do. But because they're not cancelling it, that's why people are getting worked up.
Yeah, because there's not a fair representation.
And there's only one geezer on the door, darling, there's only one geezer on the door.
Yeah.
Big black geezer, he's a nice as pie.
Yeah,
he's got a job to do. He's got his licence to thing. He's handled it blindly.
But they're still going ahead with the meeting downstairs. Right. So we're asking them to cancel the whole meeting and reschedule. And they say, no, there'll be another meeting. We don't want another meeting. We want this one cancelled and it rescheduled so we can all have our say. Pro or against. No, but we're not going to listen to their explanations.
Look, darling, we've had with this much before. They don't listen. They've got their agenda and they don't give a monkey's. That's what it is. If they want it cancelled, so hold it again in a sensible thing. That's it.
Right, it appears you've come for a meeting and they haven't scheduled a big enough room because they didn't realise you'd all be here. Oh, please, I'm just going to relay what I've been told. Please, let me finish. It's a big area, okay. Now, okay. I'm just trying to relay it and I'm just trying to keep everything calm. I know people are upset, okay, and we're not here to disrupt anyone or any meeting. Apparently the meeting will be rescheduled in a bigger place so everyone can go to it.
Does that mean this one's not going ahead? Does it mean this one's not going ahead?
This meeting's going ahead. But not if everyone can't get in the same room.
That they can bamboozle normal people with language. No, hold on. I'm talking. Councillors think that they can bamboozle normal folk with language. Yeah, we have intellect. We're not stupid. Yeah, so don't say we're going to reschedule because reschedule means if there's a football match that's cancelled, we reschedule it and we play it again next week. If a meeting's cancelled, we reschedule it.
You know what I mean?
We have no confidence in you as a councillor.
Needs to be cancelled.
Cancel the meeting. 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 Cancel the meeting.
Now that wasn't me. Yes, it's fine. Everybody out.
Champion, this is something of a disaster. What would you like to say?
In a way,
Please say to me. Please do.
it's so fantastic. So many people interested.
Yes, that's great. Fantastic.
So many people are interested.
Champion, please talk to me. Please say what you need to say. It's not beyond bias, okay?
Can you go outside, please, for the alarm? Thank you.
I thought this champion was got she's asking for an interview. Come on, step it. That's fine. Evening. All I can say is that these are very, very extraordinary events for a neighbourhood such as this. Usually a very, very quiet neighbourhood, and just look at this. Good evening, sir.
Hello.
Right, simple question. A lot of people couldn't get into the meeting this evening. Apparently it was very oversubscribed. But you did manage to get yourself into that meeting downstairs. Can you tell me, please, what was it like inside as things progressed this evening?
It was a bit chaotic, really. We were just being fed the same old ball, and everyone was getting heated. It's just the same council tactics.
Can I ask you one particular question?
Yeah.
We were told that the meeting was being delayed. Did they in fact start that meeting with you down there?
Yes.
So they started the meeting. Can I ask who convened that meeting? Who was there? Who were the conveners?
I know Rowena Champion was down there. There was an Asian councillor, I can't remember his name. There was an independent from the West End who was chairing the meeting. Other than that, I don't really know.
So the meeting actually went ahead downstairs for how long, may I ask?
Well, until the fire alarm went off.
Right, so it's quite a substantial time of the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, well we can establish what time that was. So, what were you down there for, about 45 minutes?
Maybe not that long, but we was there for a while.
Half an hour?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, well we'll go with something like, so between half an hour you were down there and the meeting went ahead.
Yeah, went ahead.
How do you feel about people, for instance, like myself as a resident and many other disappointed people that we've spoken to this evening? How do you feel, that they may feel about it themselves, that they weren't able to access a meeting that went ahead?
Right, I do understand this is the first of two meetings, which I understand, but the venue's way too small. I don't think they expected so many opposition to turn up, and too many turned up, and because you can't get in, everyone's getting the ump as usual, because we're being fed the same BS, and it's not good enough. They think they've got the right to close down our streets, telling us we've got to walk and cycle. Who are they? They work for us, we don't work for them.
Rowena Champion by her surname as well, as a champion of these LTN schemes.
Yeah.
But I think the question on everyone's lips is not whether or not they're for or against these schemes, but those people who wanted to be democratically heard this evening weren't able to be doing this. So, do you think her position is tenable?
I don't think she should be in power. I think she should have resigned 2 years ago.
So I take it you don't have confidence in Miss Champion?
None at all, because whatever they was going to talk about in there tonight, in my view, has already been decided. And we're just going to basically be told what they're going to do and when it's going to be done.
In terms of how the meeting played out, finally, if I might ask you, what sort of points did they go through in that meeting as they started it?
Well, it started up, we had a little sort of like talk about how they was going to make the streets greener and safer and all this stuff. Not about turning street lights up to full brightness so people can see where they're going. Not about what's wrong with the streets we've got. We've got enough parks, there's one behind me. Nothing about that. They're going to make it all this wonderful place for us. It is a wonderful place, it's my home. And everyone down it's our home. And they're trying to tell me how I've got to live in my own home. No.
So you're not confident in
Not
council?
confident in anyone. I think bring back Oliver Cromwell, kick a lot of them out and start again.
I'm sure some of our older viewers know the history and know precisely what you said.
Listen, I know not everything he done was right, but he walked into Parliament, kicked them all out and started again. It's what we need to do now. We need fresh blood. We need people that know what it's like to live here. Not know what it's like to live in £1.5 million house with a 200 grand a year job. We need people who know what it's like to go hungry, to have to work hard all week, to go and sit in the park with the kids and play on the streets. Not people who want the streets to play in but don't let their kids out. What's the point of that? They're giving a play street in Offord Road. What for? Who plays out in Offord Road? Nobody. It's ridiculous.
What can I say? Thank you very much for that. Very
Pleasure.
interesting overview of what happened downstairs in a meeting that went ahead today.
Thank you. My
Thank you
pleasure.
very much.
I'm Chris. I live in Liverpool Road. I'm a resident of over 40 years. I've written to Rowena Champion about the road closures 3 times. She's ignored me. She's not had the courtesy to write back. They are infringing our human rights. We are entitled to free and peace and enjoyment of our homes and access. We have not got access. They've denied us access for a few cycle lanes, a few people that use the cycle lanes. It's ridiculous. They are causing havoc and more pollution in our borough. They don't care, they won't care. They're political players. They're not interested in communities.
You've just witnessed me attempting very amiably to talk to Miss Champion, to ask her to put her side and her views across without questions, just to
Yes.
put her views across,
Yes.
and particularly about tonight.
Yes.
Now, she's seen my press pass. She then just said, "Oh, I don't know who you are." Yet I know who she is. She's an elected official and she's accountable, is she not?
She is, but she doesn't believe she is accountable to anybody. She ignores the residents. She'll ignore anybody that she cannot give her rhetoric to.
Do you have confidence in Rowena Champion as a councillor?
Certainly not. If she was interested in the environment, she would make sure that refuse bins were cleaned regularly, the refuse trucks would be cleaned and didn't stink and put their own staff at hazardous risk, and the lights are so bright that the birds don't know whether it's day or night. That's not environmental anything. They just do it under the name like COVID or environmental. It's nothing to do with that. It's all about a game they're playing with our lives and our money.
Different outcome this evening, a bit of surprise for them.
Certainly.
What can we hope for?
We can hope that they take back and realise that they need to wake up, smell the coffee and listen to the residents and their concerns and hear us, not just listen. They need to act on the residents' concerns and stop closing our roads and making us into an island.
I got one final point to put to you. It's a bit of a surprise if you don't know it already. People are asking for the meeting to be rescheduled. Did you know the meeting went fully ahead and they were down to Q's and A's before the meeting
I didn't know.
was blown away by the fire alarm? You didn't know that?
I didn't know.
Can I ask you how you feel about that?
I think it's a disgrace. I really think it's a disgrace. They're trying to whitewash the rules and come up with more solutions for anybody who raises a question about it. It's dishonest, it's undemocratic, and it's Islington who claim to be there for the people. They're there for the people who they employ and their own backyards, not for us.
Thank you so much for sharing your views this evening.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
I'm Frances Sieber. I live in Canonbury West. We've had an LTN now for 2 years. It has been an outright disaster. All they have done is split Canonbury itself. They've put all the traffic onto the boundary roads. The traffic on the boundary roads is far, far higher than it's ever been. The pollution levels, which the council refused to admit, are much higher. The speed of traffic is so slow that cars are on the road for much longer, so therefore there is more pollution. I would have thought that was obvious. Nobody wants all these road closures. You cannot look at one area, which is they're looking at Barnsbury now, without looking at the effect on the neighbouring areas, because people don't just drive up and down the road, they drive from A to B. The council's ethos is there's only 30% of car owners in the area and they want to punish them. That is rubbish, because those people without cars use taxis and Ubers. They have more deliveries probably. The taxis and Ubers will not now drive into the low traffic neighbourhood, so we find that a lot of our elderly neighbours cannot actually get in and out of their house safely. We've seen a massive increase in crime, particularly boys on bicycles stealing phones. I've seen the police having to ride bicycles to try and get into an LTN to try and catch a criminal. We have what was a very rough council estate called the Marquis Estate. That has seen, since its closure of roads, a massive increase in the crime rate. Many, many years ago they did a lot of work down there to open up the estate so there weren't dead ends, and they have achieved exactly the same by closing the road. The whole of the idea of Islington is completely misconceived, and they do not listen to the residents. Certainly in the process used in the low traffic neighbourhood since 2020 were not brought in properly. There was no proper consultation and their statistical analysis was incorrect. I do hope that for the sake of everyone, Islington doesn't go ahead with the closure of Barnsbury, because it will just make everybody's life completely impossible. Nobody will be able to get anywhere, and that actually isn't what the council's obligation is. There is an obligation of the council to consider the free movement of transport, and they will completely fail in that, since all our buses are caught up and stuck. The whole idea is ridiculous, and the council do not listen. Thank you.
Just go ahead.
Right, so there we have it. The meeting's been cancelled, so tonight is Democracy 1, Islington Council 0. Thank you very much.